they want to say, well, a lot of this has to do with like labor. It has a lot to do with like how the economy is being manipulated or controlled so that men are less empowered. That's why we say, like, when we were talking to Robert Kiyosaki, he was like, men are like soy boys now. They're manginas and everything. And that's a generational thing. But is that the result of this sort of cultural shift, or is it because those guys, they don't have fathers in the household anymore as a result of what's been going on for the last 4 generations, or is it because those industrial jobs have dried up?
No, I actually think it's 2 things. The first thing, in reference to technology, yes, technology is getting rid of labor jobs in a lot of cases. And then the other thing that I think has been glaring to me for a very long time is my generation's, and obviously the younger generation's, perception of labor as a job. It's very hard, in my opinion, for a young man to get excited about going out to work with his hands when Facebook has told you you have fucking failed if you're doing that. Facebook and Instagram have told you that if you pick a trade or you pick a blue collar business to go work in, if you're not doing tech or selling Amazon drop shipping from a beach somewhere, you have failed.
Your 4-hour work week.
Yeah, you have failed. If you are, Tim, I like Tim Ferriss a lot. And I want to just circle back to the female thing. I have a majority of women running my construction management side of the company. Now they're not in the field. I think we out of over 100 guys, we have 1 woman in the field. Now what we do is very dangerous. It is a very difficult trade physically and mentally. Women do tend to be very good managers. Trump had a female construction management lady. She did very well. They're very organized. They're good for those things. They're less combative. So you're not fighting for supremacy in any way in the office or worried about the guy leaving and starting another company. They want to feel a part of something. That's a very good thing. They need guidance from me, and I don't think that's a man or a woman thing. Robert built his business with a lot of women involved, but the truth of the matter is mostly men were building the buildings and doing the construction and driving the trucks and showing up when it's cold and fighting the elements. So in regards to technology and trucking, yes, I think that's a technology thing. In regards to the men going out in the field and taking pride in working with their hands, I actually think that's an internet era thing, where the young man that used to be proud of being a carpenter and being very good at it, now doesn't. He might as well say he's a barista at Starbucks.
Right.
I think they can't have blue collar work. There's no pride in it. The fact of the matter is, and I just said this when I spoke to my guys at our Christmas party, is the world does not go around without these men.
Oh yeah. So everything around us, everything was built.
Yes. And I predict probably in the next decade, that new hack that's going to be going around the internet, the whispering hack, the new cheat code is like, learn a trade.
Yeah.
You're going to make a shit ton of money.
Become an electrician.
Yeah. Be an electrician. Learn how to erect steel. Be a plumber, bro. Like, fuck that Amazon FBA stuff. I think we'll see that day. I think because either that
we'll get to that point where we'll need that so badly that we'll have to
and that's what's happening. There'll be a demand, a flex, and today it's really hard. I wrote the standards to the apprenticeship program for metal buildings in Louisiana and got it pushed through. Me and the state worked really hard on it. The issue that we run into is guys coming through wanting to do that as a career. And I think the reason that is a thing, and I think the reason that every time I go to a board meeting at the Metal Building Directors Association, every time I go to MetalCon or an event, the talk is always around labor, workforce. How do we find good guys?
Qualified, skilled labor.
Right, and I think at the end of the day, you can joke and say every man wants to feel like James Bond, every man wants to feel cool, every man wants to be James Dean,
Do you think that some of that has to do with also the sexual marketplace? So now
Absolutely.
We can
Absolutely.
interject that.
Look, man, you go on there and say, if you go online, let's say you went on a dating app and girl asks you what you do, and you told her that
I'm a plumber.
yeah, or something like that. It's not a very sexy thing to say, is it? And it's not just on the level of the guy working. Even a business owner, I think a lot of America's talent is going to tech products that might not even be useful. You know what I'm saying?
Or service-based economy as well.
Yeah.
Like doing a service, selling an information product.
Yeah, I mean-
Product as opposed to an actual thing. you know?
Right, right. And so I think that for that reason, it's really hard for construction. And it's hard for guys that want to drive trucks, or guys that would have been farmers, or guys that
Fabrication.
building
things.
Right, building things.
Making, the actual work that gets done, that raw sewage, right? I mean,
right, the things that make this world go around.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the reason I'm asking that is because I had, two things. First of all, I read recently this story about a shortage of teachers right now. Maybe it has something to do with COVID, probably because, we're in lockdown, or are we or aren't we? I don't know, but because of the way that education has been shifting. But if you look at the sort of the gender skew of teachers, 77% of your teachers in the United States anyways, from the time you're in preschool all the way up into your postgraduate, are going to be female. All right, so guys don't want to get into teaching because, first of all,
no money.
there's no money in it.
There's no money.
You can't support a family on it, and then there's a lot of inherent risks. If I don't toe the ideological line, or if I step out of line with the mostly women staff that I'm going to be working with, then all of those years in college to get my education degree, to learn what I'm going to teach and then how I'm going to teach, all of that's out the window. Why am I going to bother with that low-paying job, or that low-paying, low-reward job, if I can go and be an accountant, if I can go and do something that's going to be a little bit more sexy, or at least make some more money, kind of thing? That, I think, is where we have to sort of think about how intersectional dynamics plays into the career choices that men make, which of course then affects the economy.